In the recreation and leisure industry, individuals can participate in a wide variety of sports and activities which contribute to their health and well-being. While many programs focus on school-aged children, college students, and seniors, there are less programs available for working adults, less aimed specifically at women, and even fewer targeted at serving women who are raising children. Not only are these programs not as available, but mothers raising young children often feel they have many obstacles that make it difficult to participate in adventure activities. If women did not have a desire to participate in this type of leisure activity, this would not be a significant concern, but many of them do have this desire. The benefits for women to participate in adventurous recreation are far-reaching, and more access to these types of programs for mothers is definitely needed. As a mother raising 4 young children, I have experienced firsthand the benefit of participating in as well as leading women's backpacking trips. The majority of my backpacking trips have been with my husband and other male and female friends, and I have felt many of the psychological and physical benefits from these trips. However, the trips I have participated in with women only have strengthened and empowered me in different ways. Before going on trips with women, I found myself accepting more traditional gender roles, letting my husband make the decisions about where to camp, how to use the gear, pumping water, preparing food, reading the map, finding the trail, etc. This was not simply because he was my husband, but also because he was a more experienced backpacker. The trips I've attended with only women gave me no choice but to make those decisions myself. I learned skills and gained confidence that have made subsequent trips with my husband much more enjoyable for both of us, as we share much more equally in the decision-making and work during our trips. As a leader on these trips, I could see firsthand the thrill of accomplishment that these women felt as they learned new skills, struggled with difficult physical tasks, and collapsed at the end of a difficult day so proud of their accomplishments. The social bonds formed are powerful, but the personal growth has always been the most amazing aspect of the experience to witness. Benefits of outdoor activities have been found through a variety of studies, ranging from cognitive benefits such as increased problem solving and decreased accidents, to emotional benefits such as reduced irritability and increased relaxation. Women's backpacking trips provide all of these benefits, as well as increased enjoyment of life. As my personal interest in the topic of women's backpacking has increased, I had a desire to find out more about the interests of other women raising children. In September 2019, I created an online survey asking women about their opinions on women's backpacking. Questions on the survey focus on opinions about adventure activities, obstacles that might prevent women from participating, and what resources would be helpful in making participation easier. It was posted on my personal Facebook page and shared within several women's Facebook groups over a 3-week period. 35 women who reported that they take care of children responded. Of these women, 13 or 37% were local to me from the Palouse, which is the Moscow, Idaho, or Pullman, Washington area. In total, 14 states all across the country were represented. These charts give a little more information about the group of women responding to this survey. In Figure 1, the 35 respondents included represent 5 age groups, from age 26 to 55, with the largest number between 36 and 40 years old. In Figure 2, the range of numbers of children being raised was from 1 to 6, with almost 3/4 of respondents taking care of 2 to 4 children. In Figure 3, about 50% of respondents stated they were primarily at home, with 20% working primarily outside the home and 25% working both at home and outside the home. In Figure 4, of these 35 women, 57% said that they would be interested in attending a women's backpacking trip, and 37% said they might be interested, leaving only 2 respondents saying they would not be interested. This was a convenient sample, and all those participating understood that it was a survey about women in backpacking. So the percentage who are interested is not necessarily generalizable to all women in similar situations. However, it is interesting to examine the rest of the responses from these women about what may be stopping them from participating. 2 questions on the survey asked women to reflect on the level of physical activity they currently engage in. It was interesting to note that 37% of women responding said that they pretty much never get 30 minutes of aerobic exercise, and 20% of women responded that they get 30 minutes of aerobic exercise 5 to 7 days per week every week. About 40% of women fell somewhere between these extremes. As previously mentioned, only 2 of the 35 respondents said they would not be interested in a women's backpacking trip, and yet, within these same respondents, not even 1 said that she got to have adventures as often as she would like to. Almost half of all respondents said that they didn't get adventures often enough, while a little over half fell somewhere in between. Even the 20% of women who reported consistent physical activity did not respond that they go on as many adventures as they would like to. A follow-up question explored the many reasons why that might be. Women responding to the survey were asked about what stops them from participating in adventure activities. They had the opportunity to select as many options as were applicable or write their own. The majority of respondents selected multiple obstacles, and the top 4 are listed here. As we consider each of the obstacles, we can also consider what can be done in communities to address them. Over half the respondents expressed that they lacked friends to go with. As recreational programs are organized and advertised, women can communicate with their friends about participating together, as well as create new friendships as they participate and meet new women. Lack of childcare or funds to pay for childcare was reported nearly as often. Where possible, community programs for women's adventures should at least provide clear resources on available childcare options in the community, or ideally provide affordable childcare as part of the backpacking program. As women build new relationships, childcare swaps might be arranged with other women participating on different dates. Community programs could easily address women's lack of information on where to go and what to do, which a large number of women reported as an obstacle. Free events in the community could provide presentations on locations, advice for novice backpackers, and endless resources in the forms of websites, books, organizations, or even social media groups to join. And the final obstacle on the list of the top 4 is exhaustion. For mothers, this may come in the form of emotional or physical exhaustion or both, and was not described in any more detail than that on the survey. Though adventure activities can be physically challenging, especially for women who are not in the habit of getting consistent exercise, the psychological benefits can have a huge impact on emotional exhaustion from child-raising responsibilities. Community programs can also offer less challenging preparatory trips or hikes where children can be included. These trips can help prepare women physically without the obstacle of needing to find childcare. Perceived obstacles for women in my local community and around the country are valid and substantial. Community organizations can work together to provide the resources that women need to participate more fully in adventure activities. Hetler explained wellness in a model of 6 dimensions, which each contribute to an individual's well-being: emotional, occupational, spiritual, intellectual, physical, and social. Women at home with young children often tend to neglect some of these dimensions as they focus on the needs of their children rather than their own wellness. Backpacking can help with physical, emotional, spiritual, and social dimensions of wellness. The stress of raising children can be a strain on women, whether they are working or at home. It is common in the years of raising young children for friendships to be much more difficult to maintain. Having adventures with women friends builds bonds based on shared experiences, adventures, and challenges faced together. This can be beneficial for women's ability to deal with stress both physically and emotionally. While women's backpacking trips may temporarily take mothers away from their children, there are several ways that these children can benefit. Sometimes the days when the mother is gone can become a traditional time with a father or other guardian, which children look forward to as a special and rare tradition relating to the balance side of Townsend, Pumbrecht, and Zabriskie's model of core and balance. For mothers, taking some time away from the core activities that mark her daily life, feelings of gratitude and appreciation for those activities, such as family meals, prayers, or reading time, can develop. When done every day, it can be easy to take those traditions for granted. When family members step away, they may feel the value of those core traditions more fully. When women engage in adventure activities, the different elements inherent in these experiences result in positive changes for women's everyday lives. Pohl, Borey, and Patterson interviewed 24 women with moderate to great amount of wilderness experience by the women's own definition. In their interviews, the four most significant themes in terms of the positive impacts of wilderness experiences were self-sufficiency, change in perspective, connection to others, and mental clarity. Understanding which elements of adventurous recreation led to these positive impacts is important, and we will now explore this further. The researchers defined four categories of information as they explained their research results. The categories are: first, characteristics of wilderness recreation; second, contributing factors to transferable outcome; third, transferable outcome, these are the four topics I identified in the previous slide; and fourth, effect on life. The characteristics of the wilderness experience on the topic of self-sufficiency were skills, challenge, and isolation. Contributing factors were personal responsibility, physical competence, problem solving, and preparation and planning. Within the transferable outcome of self-sufficiency were 10 reported effects on everyday life. The most commonly reported effects were confidence, ability to solve other problems, challenging norms, and independence. The characteristics of the wilderness experience related to change in perspective for the women in the study were escape, connection to nature, simplicity, and solitude. Contributing factors were gauging wilderness to life, slowing down, increasing awareness, and a new angle. Some of the effects reported in the category of change in perspective were reprioritizing, having a new worldview, seeing the bigger picture, and feeling grounded. Characteristics of the wilderness experience related to connection to others were free from distractions, time, and challenge. Contributing factors were female environment, support, increased intensity of interaction, common experience, and deeper conversation. Effects in everyday life related to connection of others were strengthening relations, commonality, and seeing others in a new light. The final main theme identified by the researchers was mental clarity. Characteristics of the wilderness experience were solitude, free from distractions, time, and simplicity. Contributing factors to mental clarity were freedom of mind, absorption, quiet, slowing down, and seeing more. The effects these women saw in their everyday lives were problem solving, self-reflection, feeling grounded, peace, seeking more solitude, self-worth, and purpose. In summary, each of the outcomes identified in the interviews with these 24 women were not only positive during the trip, not simply a positive memory to look back on, but wilderness experiences had impacts on the everyday lives of these women. Participants in this study ranged in age from 21 to 78 and represented a variety of stages of life in terms of marital status or family status. For women, the challenges and stress associated with raising children, both socially and psychologically, are significant. Each of the positive outcomes associated with wilderness experiences would be helpful for women at any age or stage of life. Given the stresses and challenges facing women with young children today, providing more opportunities for wilderness adventures is of great importance. Increasing the availability of adventurous recreation activities for women raising children has benefits for all areas of society. Women are able to increase many areas of their personal well-being, including balancing their psychological, physical, and social needs. Backpacking and other wilderness experiences can have a very positive impact on stress levels, spirituality, and connection with nature. As these women have adventure experiences, they then provide benefits to their families in relation to their example of personal wellness and the potential for passing on these skills to their children and building new healthy traditions as a family. Through social bonding and positive programs for women, communities are strengthened as women come together in this way. Stronger families also contribute to a more positive and cohesive community. For individuals, families, and communities, increasing availability and encouraging participation in women's adventure activities is overwhelmingly positive.